Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the lounge where we have refreshing conversations and cereal recommendations. Today we have our very good friends, Jesslyn and Kaleb Cornett. So we have fulfilled our promise of giving you all a serious podcast style conversation. So we're going to jump into side hustles. So Jesslyn here is the queen of side hustles. And so we've invited her to come on and to give you all a rundown of what she's been doing, how much money she's made, and if these side hustles are actually legit. And so without further ado, we are going to go through some different categories. So the first thing that we're going to talk about, and I want to open the mic up for Jesslyn, is what side hustles have you researched and found?
Okay, so I've had experience doing side hustles before this year, but this year alone, starting I'd say mid-December all the way through January, I had my Facebook monetized. I'm an Amazon creator. I have some affiliate links that I've been doing as well to create commission income. And then I've also tried DoorDash. I have been doing Instacart, a lot of property mystery shopping and other mystery shopping assignments, donating plasma, and a few other little things as well. Thank you, Casey, for that recommendation. So there's been a plethora of different options I've tried just since December and in January. But going back before that, a few that I've done sustainably have been SEO or search engine optimization, copywriting, as well as social media management for a variety of clients. So some are smaller businesses all the way to larger global organizations and nonprofits. And then I've also kind of dabbled in teaching online college courses, which is now primarily like my income. But it's been kind of a variety of experiences in that way. And then also tutoring and childcare. So those are just a few that I've done over time. Just a few done over time. But mostly for this year, I want to look at what are sustainable and realistic side hustle options, especially for people who stay at home, working from home moms, and then especially single parents, single moms primarily. I want to see what's realistic, what's sustainable, and what actually generates an income, because I feel like a lot of the times we fall into these traps of multi-level marketing schemes and things that are just, we think are going to be easy and simple, especially on social media now. You'll see like, hey, if you like this video, share this video, save it or whatever, and you follow these steps, you'll get 10,000 followers in the next 6 months and you'll create a sustainable income. But that's oftentimes not realistic in what it really looks like. So that's why I kind of jumped into researching and exploring what side hustles are. So that's where that all began.
So is it a ticket that you submit to Facebook in order to be like, hey, monetize me?
So once you reach 1,000 followers, if you go into your settings, it'll give you the option to apply for monetization, and you're pretty much guaranteed approval as long as you meet the threshold of 1,000 followers.
Wow.
Yep.
I heard you say something about 1099.
Yeah.
I've worked before with somewhere around 1099s. How does that affect, because that's taxes and stuff like that? That's a whole different thing than W-2s. Can you tell me a little bit about that with your?
So I'm not a tax professional, so I wouldn't say this as advice, but I would always say whenever you're doing side hustles, always keep track of your income and try to set aside 30 to 35% for taxes, because you do end up paying into that. Now, there are some people I know, and there is years where I've not had to pay into anything because my side hustles didn't meet a certain threshold. And then there's been years where, it's come really, really close, or I've not gotten much of a return because my side hustles generated so much income. So I would say definitely get with a CPA or a trusted professional that you could go through what that would look like, especially if your side hustle is really doing well. I've had years where it's gone really well, especially social media management the last couple of years. And that was definitely difficult for trying to navigate that. I keep a master spreadsheet of how much I make every single day of the month, and then how much I make per side hustle as well. So it's like double tracking, but that helps me to know when I'm reporting at the end of the year or the beginning of the year.
So you said that beyond Facebook monetization, you said Amazon affiliates.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about that.
So Amazon affiliates, if you have a a social media account that has a certain following and they don't have a threshold. So you could have just a few hundred followers, but really good engagement. I used my Facebook since it had just monetized. I was like, well, why not try and see if that'll work? And I was accepted into the Amazon Creator Rewards program. So I can share like affiliate links. Like if I wanted to start using my social media to share like, hey, this Amazon product is something I love. If you click this link and purchase it, I get a commission, and commissions vary based on the product. And there are also sometimes where there are like promos and specials going on where a brand is like, hey, if you promote our product, we'll give you an extra 20% commission based off of your sales until we meet a certain threshold. So that's something that's really neat. The other thing though is recording, and this is what I've been trying to do, is recording video reviews of products that you like and use. So I've probably done, I think 12 videos now. So not a lot. There are people in groups that I'm in that have done thousands of videos, and they generate a really healthy, income from that $5,000 to $10,000 a month because these videos, when they're viewed and then somebody purchases after watching your video, you automatically get a commission from that as well. It's definitely something I'm not super well versed in, but it's something I really like exploring just to see if it's sustainable. Right now, I think you kind of have to play the math game with it of like what product hits really well, and then how many videos you're making. So I think if you had the time to make thousands of videos or even hundreds, you could generate a decent income from it.
Is there a commitment to that as far as what you would have to purchase in order to? Because I did something that was like I had to pay $200 or something, and then if I sent somebody the link, I would get like $7.
Those are usually scams, which is a really good point. I think that's why it's so easy for people to be tricked into like commission and affiliate programs because it's very MLM scammy. But you do have to already have the product or purchase the product. But here's the thing, you don't have to have purchased it through Amazon. Gotcha. So like if you really love Tide powder detergent, and you purchased it from Walmart, you can use that and share it and say, but here's my affiliate link and it's on sale on Amazon this week, cheaper than you get it at Walmart. That's where a lot of people on their social medias who have larger platforms and audiences can do really well. But for me, there are things that I have that are Amazon kind of Amazon exclusive, like super cubes are something I really like to use. And they, you freeze your super broth or whatever, and these little cubes, and I can reuse it. And I know it sounds really dumb, but like that's something that I noticed they have like a high return for Amazon creators sharing that product. So I just try to research what was performing well. That's the other thing, is it does take research to go into the analytics idea of it, of like what's getting a good return, and then seeing how that performs. So my videos have only been up for like 2 weeks. So we'll kind of see as I do more what that looks like.
Very cool. So what was next after the Amazon affiliate that you?
So I tried another affiliate program, and I kind of will lump these in. So an affiliate program called Binnable, and I've made, I think, like $15 back so far from Binnable. It is almost like a Pinterest type deal where you create these curated lists of products that you like. So I have some that are like, I call them like kid hacks, and things that I really love related to my kids that have kind of made my life as a mom easier. And then for me, I'm not someone who spends more than like 10 minutes getting ready usually, and so like quick things that I love to grab. My bestseller has been like these headbands that I like to wear, which is so silly to me because I'm not a fashionable person, but those have been my bestseller. And then things that I love travel wise. So you can go in and make these curated lists, and there's tons of different people on there. Like there's men and women sharing book recommendations all the way to tools and gadgets and gizmos. And I think that's what's really neat there. So I've made about $15 on Binnable, and then I made almost 40 through apps like Eureka and Brand Club, where you're taking surveys and reviewing products on there as well.
Oh my gosh. I'm getting like 7 cents for 30 minutes. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not worth it.
And I think that's where you have to make a rule for yourself and think of, and I'm a very much a business person in the sense of like, what's the ROI? So like, exactly. How much time am I spending versus how much I'm getting back? It needs to even out in a way. So there are times where I'm like, I'm not doing a survey unless it's this much money or it's going to be under this amount of time. And that's the big thing for me. So Eureka has been a good one. Brand Club has been a pretty decent one as well. So I've made about $35 back on those two as well.
So you just pretty much create a list and put it out there for people to buy it, you said?
Yeah. Binnable, I created the lists. can get them optimized. And so through optimization, and that's where you're kind of making sure your list is curated a certain way. It is what are the thumbnail images that people are going to see? How do you describe your lists? Do each of your items have a specific description of like how they're being used and why you like them? And how is your list formatted and curated? And I think the more you can make it engaging to where people are, wanting to continue to scroll through, your titles are really catchy. I think that's what really gets people's eyes. I have one that's all homeschool related as well. And I've had a lot of people exploring those. So I love Binnable because you can also see through the analytics of like what lists people are most clicking on, what items people are clicking on. Even if they didn't buy it, I can just see what's been really popular.
Very cool. Very cool. Awesome. So, we wanted to open with what you've done the research, kind of things that you've dabbled in. So what we want to hear about is, how have you been able to apply that to like real life? Like you're a mom, your wife, you've got church, you've got your family. So how do you do all of these things while also having a life?
I would say that it's so easy to look at someone and say, wow, they must be doing everything, but you don't see the behind the scenes of situations. So I'm a mom of 3. We're really involved in church. I teach online college classes. I homeschool. I stay at home with our kids. They don't go to childcare or anything like that. And then I'm doing these side hustles, and I work really heavily with a nonprofit as well that's local to our area. And I think really the crux of that is teamwork, but also prioritization. I think prioritization over time management is key. So what takes priority? So the first thing in my morning is always homeschool. Our children come first. The very first thing we do every single day is our Bible study, and then we knock our lessons out for the day. No matter what else we've got going on, that's got to take priority. And then the rest of my schedule really revolves around our kids' activities in church. So like if we have things like that, like there's nothing else that's going to go take place or interfere with those time slots that I've kind of knocked out. I really utilize nap time. So when Lincoln has his nap time, my kids, our whole house, we do quiet time. So my girls have quiet activities they have to go do. And that's when I feel like I'm able to do my best work, because that's really the only time I have to focus. So that's when I really try to knock those things out as well. And then I think it's, again, a good partnership. So if I want to try to DoorDash, or if I want to try to mystery shop, I'm connecting with Kaleb and I'm like, hey, I want to go tomorrow and do this in the evening. Like, do you mind to watch Lincoln and I'll take the girls? Or, I've got someone to watch Lincoln, but can you keep the girls? And because I never try to like leave him with an entire, house full of kids and solo parenting, just because he's also relaxing the evening from his full-time job and has things going on. So I think it's a lot about balancing and prioritization over time management. Like you can carve out and try to like block out time, but unless you figure out what's the priority and what has to take place today, everything else will fall into place. And I think it's okay feeling like, it's not a failure to say I got nothing done, side hustle wise today. That's okay to have a day like that. And it's not a failure. That's just other things took priority and had to take place. My kids came first, and, this snow that we just had, and Kaleb was gone for a week. So there were things I had to shift around and be okay with something feeling uncomfortable. And I think that's also okay in like other areas of our life. If I don't get laundry done for a couple of days, but I went out and made like $400, doing mystery shopping, what evens out in the end? Because I can always catch up on laundry over the weekend or something. So and having that conversation is really healthy and helpful too.
I think what's important with that, being on the same wavelength, is being, like-minded with the same goal, like talking with each other. She's just not out doing this just because we want to make money. There's a goal to that. Hey, we want to get rid of our debt. Hey, we want to go on a trip this fall. Hey, we want to do these things or be able to, we're heavily involved in our church. Hey, we want to give more to the church. Mm-hmm. And so having that same goal in mind makes it easier on both parties. So like when she's going out and, I have the kids, or if I'm going out doing DoorDash, because she got me into DoorDash. I love it because I get to set my car and go get food. It's easy. But having that same goal, it's so important, because then you don't fight, you don't bicker. Why the kids, all evening? Or, she's like, why the kids all evening? No, we're working together.
Yeah, I like that.
That's a staple in everything, in marriage. Yeah, just in general.
Yeah, I like that. Very cool.
So the other thing I would say is, like I said, I feel like feeling comfortable with failure is something that's really big that people underestimate. And I think because it's so uncomfortable, no one wants to say, well, I tried something and it didn't work for me. But I think we have to get to that point. There's definitely been side hustles I've looked at for our family, and I've tried it. And I was like, this isn't for me. Like, this does not work for our situation in our family. And it's okay to say that and to walk away. Or there's something I've been really excited about that hasn't panned out and has been as successful as I wanted it to. And I think being able to come to him and be like, oh, it stinks that this didn't happen the way that I hoped it would. But, just trusting in the Lord and him kind of, cheering me on anyways and being an encourager, that's helpful. But then there's been side hustles where, I still do them, like door dashing. I still door dash occasionally, but really I tried it and I was like, you would love this. Like, it may not be as much for me as it is for you. And he ended up trying it and really enjoying it. And that's been something he's kind of more stepped into of like, and he's never been a side hustle person. That was always something that's me, because that's how my dad is, and that's how I am, and that's just what's my personality and is ingrained in me. And I think it's also finding a way to, I feel like the Lord's really laid on me in this season of being rested so you can race. You have to find rhythm of rest throughout the day, and that's been really important for me. I feel like I've been really great about sleeping really well and taking care of myself in that sense. And
you know about taking care of yourself.
Yeah. And taking care of, sleep is so vital. And I think
physically, spiritually.
You can't push yourself to a point that you're unusable for your family or for the Lord. And that's been a big thing too. There's definitely been days where I have a whole list and I have all these goals of things I want to do. And I just have to sit back and say, like, this is actually a day that the Lord's wanting me to just like rest
that's
and
hard,
step back.
I'm like that too. I'm like, I think that's why I like working out so much, is because I'm like, at least if I don't get anything, I know I've accomplished that. And it gives me this sense of like, okay, like I've accomplished that, we're good. So, but when you don't have that, or when you like, I've fasted working out and I'm like, it makes you just feel like a bump on a log. It's like, I feel like I'm doing nothing. And then you have to be like, okay, well, I'm raising my kids. That is like a very big, important thing to do. It might not feel like it.
I think for me, selling my milk on the side is like my way of contributing to my family, because I can't do much with like a newborn,
That's your season.
That's my, like, I don't sleep much. I pump. That's what I do. That's what I do. So like, to me, like so I've been watching your stuff, trying to like figure out how I can incorporate that into, because I have him like, his schedule is like 7 out of 14-day period. I have him home, but like on his 7 days off, like I don't want him to be tied to the house. Like I want him to be able to do what he does. So I think contributing financially that way, like that's important to me as like a stay-at-home mom. And I think Casey and I have talked about it before. Like we were joking, because how do you buy a husband a present with their money?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So like, to me,
like, you bought this for yourself.
Yeah. Merry Christmas. Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
So like, that's a fun way for me to like contribute. I know that's kind of weird to some people, but yeah.
And every family's different.
Yes.
Not every side hustle is going to work for every family, because different schedules, different priorities, different personalities. And so you really got to find what works out for you, and not to get churchy or biblical, but for us, and we talked about this way back before she started doing side hustles. Just for her as my wife, she talked about wanting to be a Proverbs 31 person or woman. And it says in the scripture, if you read Proverbs 31, it says she's not idle, right? And you can use that in a ton of different ways, right? And she does that by homeschooling her kids, by contributing in other ways like side hustles, right? She doesn't just sit idly, right? She contributes to the household. And there's other verses we could use, but that's just one that pops out for us, right?
Yeah.
I heard you say something earlier about the uncomfortableness of your side hustle and the jobs that you do. Would you say that there is a positivity in the uncomfortableness of those challenges?
I would definitely say so. I think, we look at discomfort as it has to be a negative thing, but I think, in discomfort, there's growth. I think of things when God's growing something and it pushes out of the ground, there's resistance, it's pressing, and that's got to be uncomfortable. But I have a 4 and a 6 and 7-year-old, and they have growing pains. Growing pains are uncomfortable. They hurt, but it's because their body is growing. And so I think we can look at discomfort as a negative, or we can look at it as, this is just the Lord leading me and showing me something else. And when it's uncomfortable, is he showing me, like, you have to persevere through the discomfort, or you have to, stop, and like, this is me saying this is a hard no.
Right.
And that's where that spirit of discernment comes in. And that's why looking at side hustles for our family, it's not just an income hustle work to make money thing. It is definitely spiritual for us. And for me, it's a spiritual battle at times, because I struggle with works. Like I struggle with works in general, of like working hard to prove myself, working hard to, not earn my salvation, but to show the Lord how much I love him. And that's not what he wants. He just wants me to come to him. But it's really hard for me to make sure that I'm like balancing that really well and giving it to him. So there are definitely days where I come to Kaleb and I'm like, I made this much money. And then I'm like, but I, feel like I'm still not doing well in this area. So like, I need prayer, and like, can you help me? And
so in doing these types of things, there comes days and times in those days where you just feel like you're not growing, you're stuck, you feel like you're just not
for sure
going anywhere.
So, I didn't even plan on talking about this, but like for me, it's almost been a season of failure, because I was doing really well with social media management. I had a small little like social media management company business, and I had a lot of clients. I had dwindled it down to my two largest clients I kept last year, because I had a baby. I kept my two largest clients, and I was doing UGC work, which is something else I can talk about. But and I was making a good decent amount. I was making as much as I was when I was salaried at a large company. So I lost both of those clients towards the middle to end of last year. And it was sudden, and it was nothing personal. It was nothing about my work. It was just the way that their business were going. And it was hard to not take it personally. So that was a struggle, but also to trust in the Lord and be like, well, that was a huge hit financially. Like, what's next and what's going to happen? And I still don't have the answers for that. And I, for me, it's still painful and it's still like difficult, but I definitely feel like it was a growth moment for me, because I learned not everything is personal, and you can work and work and work and build up something really great and still lose it in an instant. And it cannot be your fault sometimes. Right. It can just be the situation and circumstances. And we're all just a moment away from something like that, right? Like all it takes is like your business goes under, this business is closing, or, they are losing clients like crazy. And it can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
Pause.
All right. So we talked about how it fits into your life. And so really, we want to know where, I guess, the meat and potatoes, like where, rubber hits the road. How much money, how much are you making? So what, I know you mentioned a plethora of different side hustles. So let's talk through top 3 and bottom 2, just based off of, are they worth it?
So my top 3 actually for January, my number 1 was UGC work. So UGC is where you are sent a product. In this case, I'm sent something for free. I review it and I send back a video, usually about 45 to 60 seconds review, or like commercial they can use on social media. It's called user generated content. So it's just a normal person talking about a product. Made $350 in January for that. And that was just for one product for a client. So that was just one video I had to make. So that's not too bad. Yeah, really good. $200 donating plasma. So I donated twice in January. Shout out to Casey for my referral for Octapharma. And then I made, it was like $190 something, so close to 200, doing mystery shopping, which I think is going to end up becoming my favorite side hustle of the year. It has been really fun. And there's so many different types you can do. So I've done everything from like getting free Wawa lunch there, and then getting like bonus for shopping there anyways, like $10 I think for the assignment, and then free lunch, all the way to like I had to go to a place and like look at 4-wheelers and take pictures of tags.
So much
fun. It was so fun. And then my very favorite ones to do though, and are property mystery shopping. So I'll go to like apartment complexes or rental homes and take tours and interact with the leasing agents. And that one is more intensive. I have like a lot of forms to fill out, but usually they're like $40 to $100 per assignment.
Wow.
So I actually have 4 scheduled for tomorrow. So I'll make about $400 tomorrow just for 4 scheduled appointments.
Do you feel like undercover boss when you do that?
I do, and I love taking Millie with me because she feels like a spy.
Oh,
She's like, we're
like hiding
spies.
in
Yeah, she's like, we're spies.
So let's talk about the 2 or more ones. It's just like this, just not worth my time.
Number 1, I would say, is Instacart. I've made $0. I've had 0 assignments on there, and I've done all the things. I've every time I've gone to DoorDash, or even like without having Dash going, I have tried to go active, and I've gotten no assignments on Instacart.
Weird.
So I don't know if that's just our area's kind of inundated or anything like that. That's really been like one that's not gone over well.
Is it for food, or is it for like actually like groceries?
Actual groceries,
Okay.
yeah. So
a lot of people in our area use like Walmart Plus and
Right.
stuff. So because those like
or just DoorDash, I feel
Mhm.
like.
And then I would say the second one, it's not that it's not great, but it's not for me, is DoorDash. I still do it occasionally, but I feel like it's something definitely doable with 3 kids. I've tested it out over a month because I wanted to show moms who are at home, moms who are single parents, that it's definitely possible to do, and it's such an instant payout is why I do love it. But for me, in the season of life I'm in, it's just, there are times where it's not feasible. And so if I depended on it, it would definitely be a harder one for me to have to do personally, just because I homeschool and other things that are priority. And I feel like for me, I have found some that are a better return. So DoorDash isn't as profitable for me. Now for Kaleb, that's something totally different. He does really well on it, and I feel like it's something that fits in better with his personality than it is for me. So DoorDash is not my favorite, but it doesn't mean that it's not a good one. And so I want people to see what works and what doesn't. If someone's like, hey, I only want to make $60 a month extra for my kids' soccer lessons, well, DoorDash might be perfect for you. Or donating plasma is, great if you're just saving up to go on a trip and you need, a couple extra $100 for food for the week or something. And that's why I felt convicted not sharing my total. So that's why I do feel pretty open about side hustles. So my number 1 side hustle was UGC work. I made $350 for January, made $200 for plasma donation, $193.26 from mystery shopping, $95.42 through DoorDash, $70 reselling things on Facebook Marketplace, and $54 from apps and affiliate links and my monetized social media account. So my total for January was $962.68.
Wow.
Awesome.
Good.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
New TV.
Yeah.
It's going straight towards the
Well, thank you, Jessalyn, very much for sharing your side hustles. Now we are going to transition over to our table to do our cereal taste test. Jessalyn has her cereal, right?
Yep.
So we don't know what it is, so you're going to know before we do. So we're going to clap on 3, which we haven't done in a long time, and then we will see you over at the table. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, welcome to our cereal bar. Jessalyn has picked up the cereal. So we haven't done this in a while. So as a recap, we are going to blind taste test the cereal. We're going to give our rating and see if we can guess what cereal it is. So without further ado, Jessalyn's going to get our cereal.
I'll help you if you're.
Oh, thank you.
All right, turn around, Olivia.
Am I allowed to open my Oh, I know this.
Am I allowed to open my eyes?
No.
No.
Your eyes closed, but
Oh.
your bowl's right in front of you.
Is it Apple Jacks? Huh.
Can we eat it?
Yes.
Oh,
I know.
That's Apple Jacks.
no,
It's
it's
gotta
not.
be Apple Jacks.
I know what it is.
Oh,
It's Fruit Loops
Yeah.
with marshmallows.
there's marshmallows?
Yeah, butter.
No
There's
marshmallows.
no marshmallows.
I don't think there's
Wait a
marshmallows.
minute. Is it Lucky
Oh,
Charms?
that's Fruit
It's
Loops.
not Lucky Charms.
Oh, there is
It's
marshmallows.
Fruit Loops with marshmallows.
I don't think I got.
I'm 1,000% confident.
I got
Fruit
one. I got one standalone marshmallow.
Yeah. So
Oh, I got one.
All right, Vaughn, what's your rating?
what's my right?
Really good.
Rating out of 5.
Turkey, that's
I'll do a 4.
I'll say a 4.
sorry, Turkey, I forgot you.
3.5.
Okay,
I have your own bowl.
just try it. I'm doing like 4. 4.
Let's go.
Yeah, I think good crunch factor, good taste. 3.5.
You
Yeah.
can never go
Okay.
wrong with a marshmallow.
All right, what is it?
It is
Fruit Loops with marshmallows. Awesome.
I'm not that
Fruit Loops, not a sponsor. Go pick you up some. That's great. Guys, we want to thank you so much for tuning in, joining us for this podcast style episode. Once again, we want to thank our special guests for joining us this episode. Stay tuned for some more challenges that we've been posting here for season 2. Go get you some cereal. This is some good stuff. So as always, like, comment, share, subscribe, all the above. We greatly appreciate all the support. We'll see you next time. Stay classy.
Go make some money.